And I will again say this will be recorded and be available to the public. If anybody has a problem, needs to let me know. Otherwise, please stick your thumbs in the air or something saying it's okay. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Nancy, if you just say it's okay, that'd be okay. Oh,
It's okay.
She's got her thumb in the air, her yellow thumb. Okay, the thing we went over had just going over it real quick. It just, you know, there were lots and lots of topics for expansion. One of them is, and this presented itself immediately to me, was, well, the term was used, hyperlinking. Okay, do y'all know what hyperlinking is? What is it? Somebody talk about it a little bit. Help me out here. I think I know, but I want to make sure. Here's Janessa. Hold on. Hey, Janessa.
Everybody knew that was going to happen.
We were just continuing. I think Heidi, you know, she had to go teach that class, and I think she ended the call. So we're all back pretty much. I think almost everybody. And we were just talking about some of the expansion ideas from the list. One of the things that hits me just up front in that kind of, and Janessa, let me know if you're okay with us, if you're not okay with us recording this.
You can record away, John.
Okay. Okie dokie. So one of the things that always hits me as we're going into this, and it was right up front, is we were talking about this hyperlinking. Everybody know what hyperlinking is? Does anybody not know? And just to make sure I know, would somebody explain it who does know?
So it's like, you'll see it on websites where they'll say, and to get to this link, click here. And you'll see the word here is highlighted blue, and you just click on that word.
Okay.
Instead of attaching the link at the end.
All right. All right. So everything that goes out has that on it. If you don't have somebody who knows how to do that, you need to. All right. You really do. And the next thing that came up in my head as we were talking, there were lots and lots of things to do. So how do you turn that lemon into lemonade? There's so many things to do. You're trying to build a program. How do you turn the lemon of so much stuff to do into lemonade, something that's really good for the program? Anybody got the answer to that? I know the answer, but anybody want to throw it out? All right, I'll throw it to you. Use the people who are already in the program. Give them jobs, help them to own a piece of it by creating a hyperlink, by making sure there's some decorations there, you know, little things like pull them in and really, really, you know, we need you to help with this. I will tell you, coming into recovery, feeling like the biggest goofball, dope fiend, garbage head in the world, the very first time they asked me to do something, I was like, "You're asking me? What? Are you kidding? I'm such a goofy dude, you know?" And it gave me a piece of it immediately, those kind of things. So when you're planning these things, take these opportunities to pull your people in and make them a part of it. Any comment or any thoughts on that? Any ideas? Again, steering committee is where you kind of begin. Begin with steering committee. That's not only the group, but the families also. Okay. Let me ask you this. Did you have any ideas for Zoom activities? How do we deal with, you know, that's one of the things to be thinking about as we're moving through this. I will tell you, and I've mentioned this before, the group here has done a few Zoom activities. They haven't been greatly successful, but I think they were done early on in the lockdown. So folks, you know, were really resistant. Now I think it works a little bit better. but some Zoom activities are watching movies together. Simple things, playing video games together, playing board games together. But everybody's on Zoom. Those kind of things you can build stuff around it.
I saw one for charades and like bingo.
Yep. What's that? Jackbox has a bunch of games that you can play, on a thing. Another question that came up in my mind is, as you're doing this, what if you can't, that list that Heidi shared was huge. That's a lot of stuff. That's a massive thing. So I wanted to just make a comment. If you can't do all of that stuff, that doesn't mean don't do it. All right. You do what you can. That's what the idea, that's the goal. It is not the limitation. All right. And any part of that will add to the process. Good idea to check it all out, because you might, and share the list with the group, because different people in the group may see something on that list that particularly appeals to them. You may have somebody that, what I really love? Creating hyperlinks. That's just my life. I love that, Great, good. That's what you get to do on this, Let me see what other notes I made here.
I'll say also, John, that she thinks like I do. I love having everything organized, but you're right. You just go ahead and do it anyway. And then always debrief afterward so that you know how you can improve all the moving pieces. I know that there's been times at the Crab-A-Rama where people were supposed to bring ice and they didn't, and where we had that event was kind of far from a store. So we just sent someone out anyway. You just make it work. It's not rocket science.
I use that lemons into lemonade all the time. All the time, if you need somebody to go get ice, you glance around, you find out who is strong in building relationships and who is the new person that needs a friend. And you go, you two guys go.
Yeah.
Pick up therapeutic mileage out of the problem, that gives them a chance to get to know each other and stuff. Listen, the thing in there about the reaching out to politicians, activities like this are photo ops for politicians. They love photo ops. And and they can be very, very powerful in helping you out as you move ahead, etc. I did share with y'all the thing that happened to me in the advocacy meeting I had with the representative here in Texas. Did I share that with you? Or was that where I was last week? I don't know. It's all a blur. NADAC, National Association of Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Counselors, had their advocacy day, Hill Day, what they call Hill Day. And I led a little crew that worked with a U.S. representative, and we did a Zoom, meeting with Lizzie Fletcher, who's a representative for part of the Harris County area, but at the at the federal level. And we met with her. And it was really interesting because I started to introduce myself like we always do. Did I tell you all this? I said, I'm John Cates. I run a program called Lifeway. And she goes, wait a minute. She said, I know who you are. I went, what? This was really weird. I've never had this happen. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've never had this happen. She says, oh yeah, over at Memorial Drive United Methodist Church. She said, you guys have been there for over 20 years and you have saved thousands. I'm sitting there and not saying a word. She said, I know who you are. I know about your program. She said, I know what APGs are. And I went, what? I'm getting goosebumps, ready to cry and stuff. And she goes, yeah, I got friends who you guys have reached out to and helped and blah, 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 blah. But the point here is politicians keep up with this. This is where they have to work in order to be able to help. They have to get elected, or if you don't get elected, you can't help. It's simple. So you got to get elected. Elected is photo ops, and these things are great photo ops. Something we have not done well with. Lifeway has not done well with that, but could have done much better, and you guys can. Again, steering committee, this is a great place. It's if you don't have a steering committee, this is a good place to begin to form one, these things. If you do have one, it's a good place to strengthen and expand, you know. So that steering committee, or whatever you want to call it, is a leadership committee group. You know, it's a good place to get them ownership and get them involved. I loved the training for staff. That's an ongoing thing. Again, stepping back a little bit into history and training for training for staff in the 70s and 80s and 90s was sometimes a 4 and 5 month long process. And actually talking about the disease and talking about APGs and how they approached it was a part of the curriculum at that time. Something we actually need to get going again, something that we could offer, you know, on an international basis, you know, on that kind of thing. And we can use Zoom to do it. Organization is important, but your heart has to be in it. And they go back and forth. Organization is important. Heart is important. You miss either one of those, you got problems, you know. So you got to keep it going and fun and everything.
Hey, John, I was during my 4-hour meeting with Michelle yesterday, I was explaining to her about the importance of all the different activities. Like you mentioned the Crab-A-Rama, but the importance of having those seasonal activities like for the whole family. And when you branch out and have multi-groups all around the city to get them all together. And part of the fun is planning, you know, ahead, appointing people to help with those activities. And then you're constantly either planning or putting on one of these things while you're doing your weekly programming. So it all keeps the enthusiasm, you know. But I was telling her about the Easter egg hunt and the white elephant parties. All of those things are really important. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because that's something my kids miss.
Yeah.
You know, even
Yeah,
the one that wasn't in
remember.
Lifeway, he talks about the white elephant parties. Like, what are we doing this year? So that's something that can probably be done over Zoom. You know, you can.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
really
how.
can. And I will tell you that there is what kind of happens is you set a goal of these activities, and then in trying to reach that goal, you end up achieving what you're looking for in the group. One of the goals we had set for the program as a whole was at least one citywide activity a month. You know, that was the goal. And then the weekend things were kind of folks just did and did things. But we didn't have it figured out what citywide activity it was each month. But when we set the goal to have one, it forced us into thinking it through and coming up with one. And one of them we came up with was the Crab-A-Rama. Okay. And because you got, what are we going to do? I don't know. You know, well, it's warm enough to run down there. What are we going to call it? And then goofy stuff starts putting itself together. Guys, I have another meeting I have got to go to. I love meeting with you guys. It's so cool, so fun, so neat. Talk to you later. See you next week. Okay.
See you next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys next
Bye-bye.
week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye, Janice.